July mass uprising belongs to people, not to any single party, says Prime Minister Tariq Rahman at discussion titled 17 Years of Relentless Struggle and Bloodstained July Awakening for Restoration of Democracy. Bangladesh to observe July Mass Uprising Day tomorrow, marking the day of fall of 16-year Hasina-led fascist regime in 2024 amid student-led mass uprising. Prime Minister to inaugurate July Mass Uprising Memorial Museum tomorrow that would preserve legacy of people's movement. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman directs to prepare comprehensive and transparent database of farmers by December to ensure benefits of farmers' card reaches genuine beneficiaries. Saudi Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs, Engineer Walid El-Khejri, calls on Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, urges more Saudi investment in Bangladesh. Parliamentary Special Committee on Constitutional Amendment holds its first meeting at সংসদ Bhavan. Information and Broadcasting Minister calls for building state and social institutions inspired by the spirit of July mass uprising. Power crisis to ease once gas supply stabilizes, says Prime Minister's Information and Broadcasting Advisor. Trump issues final warning to Iran on nuclear deal. Tehran rejects direct talks with Washington. And Bangladesh step up preparations for Australia Test Series with second straight day of trading. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News at 10. I am Roya Zabin. You have just heard the headlines. Now news in details. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman urged people to remain vigilant against those conspiring to undermine the country's rebuilding efforts, saying the time has come to move beyond protests and focus on fulfilling people's aspirations. He said this while speaking at a discussion marking the second anniversary of the July Revolution. BNP organized the discussion titled 17 Years of Relentless Struggle for Democracy and the Blood-Soaked July Awakening at the Krishibid Institution Bangladesh KIB in the capital this afternoon. The Prime Minister said the success of the July uprising belongs to the people of Bangladesh, not to any individual or political party. Recalling the movement, Tariq Rahman said people from all walks of life had united for change, making the movement successful. Acknowledging public suffering over gas and electricity shortages, he said the government is working continuously to overcome the crisis. Calling on party leaders and activists to focus on serving the people rather than seeking personal gains, he said the government's priority is to deliver on its commitments and fulfill the aspirations of the people. He also assured continued support for those injured and affected during the July movement, saying the government will provide treatment, rehabilitation, and employment opportunities within its capacity.
এই দেশের সর্বস্তরের জনগণের। এটি কোনো একক ব্যক্তি, একক কোনো দল, রাজনৈতিক দলের এটি কোনো ক্রেডিট নয়। জ্বালানির কথাই বলুন, গ্যাসের কথাই বলুন, এই সব ক্ষেত্রে আমরা জানি দেশের বিভিন্ন প্রান্তে বহু মানুষ এই সকল ভোগান্তি পোহাচ্ছেন এগুলা। তো এখন এই বিষয়গুলোকে অবশ্যই আমাদের অ্যাড্রেস করতে হবে, কিন্তু এই কথাটাও সত্য যে কিভাবে ফাঁসিবাদী স্বৈরাচার এই জ্বালানি খাতটাকে তাদের পকেট ভারী করার একটি খাত হিসাবে তারা এটাকে বিবেচনা করেছিল। মালয়েশিয়াতে আমি ওখানে যে আছে পেট্রোনাস একটি তাদের কোম্পানি আছে, সেই কোম্পানির সাথে আমরা আলোচনা করেছি। তারা যেটি করে, পেট্রোনাস কোম্পানি কন্টেনারের মধ্যে করে তারা গ্যাস নিয়ে যায়, এলএনজি গ্যাস তারা নিয়ে যায়। আমরা তাদের সাথে কথা বলেছি এবং একটু সময় লাগার কারণে গত সপ্তাহে আমি নিজে প্রাইম মিনিস্টার আনোয়ার ইব্রাহিমের সাথে ফোনে কথা বলেছে যে উনি আমাদেরকে এই ব্যাপারে সহযোগিতা করতে পারেন কিনা, এবং উনি তখন আমাকে ফোনে বললেন যে আমি আগামীকাল কি তাদের সাথে কথা বলছি এবং আমরা দেখব কত দ্রুত বাংলাদেশকে কিভাবে সহযোগিতা করা যায়। গতকাল সন্ধ্যার সময় পেট্রোনাস কোম্পানি তাদের সাথে জুম মিটিং ছিল এবং জুম মিটিং এ তারা মোটামুটি ভাবে কথাবার্তা কমপ্লিট হয়েছে এবং তারা চেষ্টা করছে যত দ্রুত সম্ভব আগামী অক্টোবরের মধ্যে তারা আমাদেরকে সেইভাবে গ্যাস দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করবে যাতে আমরা আমাদের মিল ফ্যাক্টরিগুলোতে গ্যাস সরবরাহ করতে পারি। দেশে মানুষের কর্মসংস্থানের ব্যবস্থার জন্য আমরা কথা বলছি, বিভিন্ন দেশি এবং বিদেশি বিনিয়োগকারীদের সাথে আমরা কথা বলছি। আমরা আশা করছি আগামী 6-7 মাসের মধ্যে এর মধ্যে অনেকগুলো আমরা চালু করতে সক্ষম হব, অর্থাৎ প্রাইভেট সেক্টরে আমাদের, যার ফলে কয়েক হাজার কর্মসংস্থানের ব্যবস্থা ইনশাল্লাহ হয়ে যাবে।
BNP Secretary General and Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives Minister Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir chaired the event, while Nagorik Oiko convener Mahmudur Rahman Manna, National Party Qazi Zafir's President Mustafa Zaman Haidar, Bangladesh National Party Chairman Andalib Rahman Partho, Gonu Forum Executive President Advocate Shubroto Chaudhry, Revolutionary Workers Party General Secretary Comrade Saiful Haq, Gonu Shanghati Andolon Chief Coordinator State Minister Junaid Saki, Gonothikar Porishod President State Minister Mohammad Nurul Haq Noor, National People's Party Chairman Dr. Fariduzzaman Farhad, General Secretary of Jamaat Ulema-e-Islam Mufti Mohiuddin and Chairman of the Bhashani Janashakti Party Sheikh Rafiqul Islam Bablu spoke at the function. BNP's Publicity Secretary and State Minister for Fisheries and Livestock Sultan Salahuddin Tuku conducted the function, while leaders from Dhaka Metropolitan North and South BNP, Jubo Dol, Sechchasebok Dol, Krishok Dol and Chhatro Dol leaders also spoke at the event. BNP's Standing Committee member Dr. Khandoka Musharraf Hussain, Amir Khosru Mahmud Chaudhry, Salahuddin Ahmed, Begum Selima Rahman, Professor Dr. AZM Zahid Hussain and BNP's Senior Joint Secretary General Advocate Ruhul Kabir Rizvi were present at the event. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman directed the authorities concerned to prepare a complete and accurate database of farmers by December through a transparent verification process to ensure that government support reaches genuine farmers. The directive came at a meeting on the Farmers Card program held at the Prime Minister's office in the Cabinet Division at the Bangladesh Secretariat today. The Prime Minister instructed the authorities to ensure that the new farmers card carries the holder's photograph and a QR code along with information on the farmer's identity, agricultural production, government assistance and agricultural market-related services. He asked the officials concerned to take these requirements into account while designing the card. Officials at the meeting said the process of opening bank accounts for farmers has already begun. The farmers card has been introduced to ensure that government subsidies, soft loans, incentives and other support for the agriculture sector reach genuine farmers quickly and efficiently. A total of 43 lakh farmers are expected to receive the card during the current fiscal year. The government plans to bring around 2 crore farmers across the country under the program over the next 3 years. Agriculture Minister Aminur Rashid, State Minister for Fisheries and Livestock Sultan Salahuddin Tuku, State Minister for Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives Mir Shahe Alam, Prime Minister's Advisor Mahdi Amin, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister ABM Abdul Sattar, Prime Minister's Special Assistant Shakirul Islam Khan, BNP Special Secretary Belayat Hussain and senior officials attended the meeting. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman assured experts and representatives of relevant organizations of the government's cooperation in ensuring safe and sustainable water management as part of its commitment to environmental protection and sustainable development. He made the assurance while exchanging views with experts and representatives of the organizations working in the water, environment and engineering sectors on the country's water management challenges and possible long-term solutions. The meeting was held in the Prime Minister's office at Bangladesh Secretariat. The discussion focused on restoring canals, ensuring the stability of rivers and embankments, improving urban drainage systems, wastewater treatment and rainwater management. The experts and representatives also stressed the need for integrated and effective urban planning to address the challenges posed by rapid urbanization. The experts recommended adopting short, medium and long-term plans, expanding the use of modern technologies, strengthening coordination among relevant agencies and taking effective measures in view of the impacts of climate change. After hearing the experts' views and recommendations, the Prime Minister assured them of the government's support to ensure safe and effective water management for citizens in line with its commitment to sustainable development and environmental protection. State Minister for LGRD and Cooperatives Mir Shah Alam, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister ABM Abdul Sattar and BNP Special Secretary Belayat Hussain, among others, were present. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman said Bangladesh is keen to build a strategic, multidimensional and long-term partnership with Saudi Arabia and invited greater Saudi investment, especially in the growing solar power sector in the country. He made the remarks during a courtesy meeting with Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Engineer Walid El Khariji, at the Prime Minister's office at the Secretariat today. The Saudi Vice Minister said Bangladesh has created a favorable environment for investment under the leadership of Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, adding that the Saudi Arabia is keen to strengthen bilateral relations further by expanding cooperation and investment in a number of promising sectors. He also highlighted the significant contribution of Bangladeshi workers to Saudi Arabia's development. El Khariji congratulated the Prime Minister on the election of Bangladesh's Foreign Minister Dr. Khalilur Rahman as President of the 81st session of the United Nations General Assembly. The Prime Minister said relations between Bangladesh and Saudi Arabia are founded on mutual trust and long-standing friendship, that his government wants to develop them into a strategic, multidimensional and long-term partnership. The Saudi Vice Minister said the kingdom is interested in investing in Bangladesh's processed food, seafood, tropical food, agro-based industries, information technology, artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and several other sectors. The Prime Minister urged Saudi Arabia to increase its investment in Bangladesh, saying the country now offers a favorable investment climate. He particularly invited Saudi investment in the solar power sector, noting that Bangladesh is implementing an extensive program to expand the use of clean energy and that investment by Saudi companies would be beneficial for both the countries. At the end of the meeting, the Saudi Vice Minister invited Prime Minister Tariq Rahman to visit Saudi Arabia. The Prime Minister thanked him for the invitation and expressed hope of visiting the kingdom at a mutually convenient time. The Saudi delegation included advisor to the Saudi Interior Minister, Lieutenant General Sulaiman bin Abdulaziz Al Yahya, Deputy Minister for Consular Affairs, Dr. Mohammad Al Shamari, Deputy Minister for Human Resources and Social Development, Muhannad bin Ahmed Al Issa, Saudi Ambassador to Bangladesh Dr. Abdullah bin Abia, and senior officials from the Saudi Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Interior. Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed, Foreign Minister Dr. Khalilur Rahman, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Shama Ubaid Islam, and Foreign Affairs Advisor to the Prime Minister Humayun Kabir were among others present at the meeting. Commander of the United States Pacific Fleet, Admiral Stephen T. Kohler, today paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Tariq Rahman and highly praised Bangladesh's contribution to the United Nations peacekeeping missions, particularly in Africa. The two sides, during the meeting at the Prime Minister's office at the Secretariat, discussed humanitarian assistance, disaster management, bilateral naval cooperation, and ways to further strengthen Bangladesh-US relations. Admiral Kohler highlighted Bangladesh's participation in various naval exercises. He expressed hope that Bangladesh would regularly take part in the Rim of the Pacific RIMPAC exercise and other training programs in the future. The Bangladesh side reaffirmed that it attaches great importance to its relations with the United States and expressed interest in further deepening bilateral ties through broader and more contemporary cooperation. Admiral Kohler said Bangladesh and the United States have ample opportunities to work together and voiced optimism that relations between the two countries would continue to grow stronger. The Prime Minister said Bangladesh has always stood for peace across the world. Prime Minister's Foreign Affairs Advisor Humayun Kabir, Defense Advisor Brigadier General Retired Dr. A.K.M. Shamsul Islam, U.S. Ambassador to Bangladesh Brent T. Christensen, Bangladesh Ambassador to the United States Tariq Muhammad Ariful Islam, Director General of the North America Wing at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other senior officials were present during the meeting. July Mass Uprising Day will be observed tomorrow. The day marks the mass uprising that led to the fall of the Awami League regime led by fascist Sheikh Hasina on the 5th August 2024. It will be observed as a milestone in the country's recent political history. The movement began in July 2024 with protests led by the anti-discrimination student movement. It quickly spread across the country as students, youths, workers, and people from all walks of life joined the demonstrations. As police tried to stop the protests, clashes increased and more casualties were reported. The movement later turned into a nationwide demand for the government's resignation. After weeks of protest, then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina left the country on 5th August. Supporters of the movement described her departure as the end of a fascist rule. After the news spread, thousands of people celebrated on the streets in Dhaka and other parts of the country. They held victory processions, chanted slogans, and expressed hope for a new Bangladesh. Various programs have been arranged in Dhaka and across the country to mark the day. The day will be observed with remembrance, tribute, and a renewed commitment to the future. On the occasion of July Mass Uprising Day, Acting President Hafizuddin Ahmed Bir Bikram and Prime Minister Tariq Rahman have issued separate messages. Acting President Hafizuddin Ahmed Bir Bikram has called for building a discrimination-free, democratic and justice-based Bangladesh in line with the sacrifices and aspirations of the martyrs and the injured of the July Mass Uprising. In a message, he urged all to inspire by the spirit of the Great July Mass Uprising, remain united in building a democratic, justice-based, humane, discrimination-free and happy, prosperous new Bangladesh. The acting president also called for working together to realize the dreams, ideals and aspirations of the martyrs. The acting president remembered thousands of heroic martyrs who laid down their lives in the movement, including Abu Said, Mugdho, Wasim, Yamin, Farhan, Nafiz, Taim, Naima, child Riagop and Ahad, with profound respect and gratitude. He also expressed his deep respect and profound sympathy for the July fighters who were permanently disabled during the movement. He also assured that due honor will be ensured to the martyred and injured July warriors, while the welfare of their families, treatment and rehabilitation of the injured. The acting president stressed that impartial, fair and speedy trials of all killings and crimes against humanity committed during the July Mass Uprising would be ensured. In a separate message, Prime Minister Tariq Rahman called for national unity forged during the July-August mass uprising and pledged to build a just, democratic and humane Bangladesh. The head of the government said the student-led mass uprising of August 5, 2024 forced the then government to flee the country. Secret detention centers known as inauguration had been established across the country to silence dissent, while many political leaders and activists remained missing, alleged the Prime Minister. He said the country's constitutional and statutory institutions, including the judiciary and the Election Commission, had been rendered ineffective. The Prime Minister vowed that autocracy, fascism, extremism and militancy would never again be allowed to take root in Bangladesh. The first meeting of the Parliamentary Committee formed to amend the Constitution was held today at the Cabinet Room of the Jatiyo Sangsad Bhavan. The meeting was chaired by Committee Chief and Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed. Law Minister Muhammad Asaduzzaman and Chief Whip Muhammad Nurul Islam, along with other committee members, attended the meeting. The committee discussed a roadmap for constitutional amendments aimed at implementing the July National Charter. It also decided to hold a series of consultations with lawyers, academics, journalists, political parties and representatives of the July uprising. Members also agreed to ensure that the principles of the July National Charter are reflected throughout the Constitution, from the preamble to the schedules. At the briefing after the meeting, it was announced that the amendment process would move forward based on the 6 sections of the July National Charter and 7 declarations submitted by the 33 political parties. They added that opinions from professionals from different sectors would also be considered. The July Mass Uprising Memorial Museum is set to begin its journey to preserve the memory of the July Mass Uprising. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman will officially inaugurate the museum tomorrow at 9 a.m. The announcement was made today by Cultural Affairs Minister Nitai Roy Chaudhary during a press briefing at the Secretariat ahead of the museum's inauguration. Prime Minister's Advisor on Policy and Strategy, Information and Broadcasting and Cultural Affairs, Dr. Zahidur Rahman, State Minister for Cultural Affairs Ali Nawaz Mahmood Khayyam, and senior officials of the ministry were present at the briefing. The Cultural Affairs Minister said a series of programs have been arranged across the country, including Dhaka, to mark July Mass Uprising Day. As part of the inauguration ceremony, participants in the uprising and family members of those who were killed will share their memories, and a documentary depicting the events of the July Mass Uprising, public participation and the history of the movement's victory will be screened. He also said that if any specific allegations of irregularities related to the construction or management of the July Memorial Museum are received, they will be thoroughly investigated. Through respect for the martyrs of the July people's uprising will be possible if the entire state structure, including the executive and judiciary, reflects democratic values. Information and Broadcasting Minister Zahiruddin Shapun said this while speaking as chief guest at a memorial meeting marking the July Mass Uprising organized by Poet Teachers Association in the capital today. He mentioned that a collective public awareness is needed to ensure a state system that is humane, socially respectable, and upholds the values of a democratic culture. The desire that was created through the blood of martyrs in the July uprising must be collectively realized by bringing the necessary changes in the state and social structure, added the minister. He also highlighted the role of the teachers to boost the ethical values of the students in addition to teaching. Buet Teachers Association President Professor Dr. Muhammad Anisuzzaman presided over the July Mass Uprising Memorial Meeting. Foreign Minister Dr. Khalilur Rahman held a meeting with Saudi Arabia's Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs Walid El Khariji, who is currently on an official visit to Dhaka. The meeting took place today at the State Guest House, Bodda, in the capital. During the meeting, the two sides discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral relations, expand trade and investment, and enhance cooperation across a range of sectors. Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Shama Obaid Islam, Prime Minister's Foreign Affairs Minister Humayun Kabir, and members of the high-level delegation from the Saudi Ministry of Foreign Affairs were present at the meeting. Prime Minister's Information and Broadcasting Advisor Dr. Zahidur Rahman has said the current electricity problem will be resolved quickly once the gas supply crisis is addressed. He made the remarks during the regular media briefing at the Secretariat today. The briefing was also attended by Principal Information Officer Syed Abdul Ahmed and Joint Secretary of the Ministry Dr. Alam Mustafa. Dr. Zahidur Rahman also announced that Malaysia's labour market will reopen for Bangladeshi workers in the last week of this month. Commerce Minister Khandokar Abdul Muqtadi has announced that 97% of Bangladeshi goods and services will enjoy duty-free or preferential market access in South Korea. He made the announcement today while speaking to journalists at the Secretariat following the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between Bangladesh and South Korea. The Commerce Minister also said that 87% of the South Korean products will receive preferential tariff treatment in Bangladesh. He also noted that the agreement will enable a wide range of Bangladeshi export products, including ready-made garments, leather goods, and jute products, to gain easier access to the South Korean market. The minister expressed hope that the agreement would help diversify Bangladesh's exports and further strengthen the country's competitiveness in the global market. Now, international